Nightcrawler. You know him, you love him, I don't think you'd have clicked on this video if you didn't. I think he's just the coolest and hottest and most dateable of the X-Men, and today I just want to do a ranking of his on-screen adaptations. So that's TV series and movie adaptations of the character only, not video games, because we'll be here all day and also I don't play them. The Earth 616 regular comic book version of him was created in 1975 by artist Dave Cockrum, though there's some stuff I've seen online about his original writer being a guy called Len Wein, but I don't know, I've always attributed him to Cockrum. He is the blueprint for all of the Nightcrawlers we're going to see. The look of him and the personality vary across the decades, but generally he's a friendly, flamboyant, flirtatious, kind and funny character. He is canonically seen as both a scary-looking freak and a hottie and a cutie. He's been described as being like velvet to the touch. He's truly a luxuriant boy, and he is a teleporter. His Earth 616 Banff cloud is usually portrayed as a bright magenta, which has a sulfuric smell, which is kind of not cute, but I'll forgive him. And these are the features that I think are quintessentially Kurt, but don't always get included. So, he should be funny. Above all, Kurt wants to be friends with everyone, so he's very nice, friendly, and attempts to connect via humour. He is Catholic. Though he looks like a blue devil, he is Christian, which creates a great contrast between his perceived demonicness and his faith in Christ. I think it's juicy. I like that he's religious, but he is not chaste. He would go cave diving, as this artwork from Dave Cockrum's personal archives shows. It's blurred, but trust me, that's Kurt and Aurora being intimate. He is a swashbuckler. His favourite movie star is Errol Flynn, and he's often shown to dual-wield or even triple-wield swords. He has curly hair. It's just beautiful, and he has a circus background. He was an acrobat and a star performer. And I'm going to be using these features to gauge how highly each on-screen version of him is going to go in the rankings, but also it's going to be based on vibes. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends from 1983. While he has a silent cameo in Season 3, Episode 3, The Education of a Superhero, his first proper animated appearance is in Season 3, Episode 7, The X-Men Adventure, played by Gordon Stanley Jones. The colouring of his costume combined with his skin tone kind of make him look a bit nude, like it's giving Borat Mankini. He's kind of a damsel in this episode. He's the first of the X-Men to get grabbed by the villain, and he's specifically referred to in the episode as the jokester of the X-Men. Huh? That's like them telling us he's the funny one. He is kind of funny, I guess, in the moments we do see. I like his energy. He's just a little guy, as it were. His Banff effect is white sparkles and a magical sci-fi sound effect. And his hair is curly, I think. And so, for his first on-screen adaptation, I'm going to put him in tier B. Next is X-Men, Pryde of the X-Men from 1989, where he was played by Neil Ross. He, in this, is kind of creepy, I'm not gonna lie. There's no need for him to be acting the way he does.
Ah, Fräulein, what a lovely vision you are. Please allow me.
Professor?
I just hate the voice. It's kind of this long, dragged-out vowels that sounds like Igor-esque. He's less of a damsel than he was in his previous appearance. He's actually useful to the mission instead of just getting grabbed. The king of being brave and unselfish, I guess. He does risk his life, all while Kitty is kind of sobbing about being, rightfully, in my opinion, kind of scared of him. If I'm honest, I think he'd probably be alright if he would just learn about boundaries, you know? His Banff cloud is, again, a white cloud with like a high-pitched zippy noise. And his hair is slightly curly. I'm going to put him in tier C. Now it's time for X-Men, the animated series from 1995, as played by Adrian Howe. His whole personality in this one is, I am a monk. I feel like he kind of converts Wolverine to Catholicism, or like, brings Wolverine back into Catholicism, like Wolverine is shown praying. I just personally don't really like this. Like, the whole Nightcrawler being a monk thing is, like, I feel like a character can have religion without going full priest. And I also feel like this kind of set a precedent for Priest Nightcrawler that is just personally not for me, but became quite the thing in the comics shortly after, I think. But I will give this version props, because this is the first time it's made clear that he is religious and his Catholicism is in place. But appearance-wise, like, I do find this version of him to be the least hot. He's kind of hulkingly muscular and inelegant looking. His hair is not curly, but it's kind of shaggy and in this blown back style that I don't think is flattering. I'm not mad at his voice though.
Life will always be hard. I understand this better than most. Yet despite it all, people of every faith believe there is a God who loves them. Can so many be wrong?
Like, I think it does suit the portrayal, and the bamf this time is grey smoke, with again a zippy, high-pitched noise. And because this is truly one of my least favourites, I'm going to put him quite low in tier C. Next is X-Men Evolution from 2000 to 2003, played by Brad Swale. This is a rare moving image incarnation of Nightcrawler, possibly the only one, if I think about it, where he's actually a main character, so is able to be better rounded, but generally kind of fills that comic relief role. This is a unique incarnation amongst the rest of these moving image Nightcrawlers, as Evolution is the official high school AU version of X-Men, where the students do their mutant power training at Xavier's, but have their regular learning at the local human high school, necessitating Kurt to use an image inducer that projects a hologram of him as a white teenager so he can blend in. I love his dynamic with the other characters, especially the big bro, little bro relationship with Scott, and the platonic boy-girl besties with Kitty. I'm not sure if he's ever portrayed as being quite this tight with Scott in any comics, but I know that he was consistently close with Kitty. I'm looking at you, my beloved, most favourite 80s Excalibur run, so I really like that we get to see friendships with him. This version of him is distinct as he is much younger than he's usually portrayed, and so his German accent is less strong and more Americanized, and like he calls everybody dude.
Chicks dig the Fozzie dude.
Which is true. It's shown that female classmates have crushes on him at least 2 separate occasions. He does not seem to have a circus background and is just shown with like regular normie parents, and also isn't shown to be explicitly Catholic, and his hair is not even a little bit curly. He's got straight boy band curtains hair. His bamf effect is a yellow flash with grey smoke and a high-pitched zippy sound again. This is my personal favourite version, although definitely not ticking a lot of the boxes that I think are quintessentially Kurt. Still, I think he gets a pass for being a teenager. Like, Kurt being a person with an earnest, caring personality as well as a purposefully clownish persona used to mask his internal struggle due to his physical mutation and how his demonic appearance is reacted to by others does mean a bit more to me than like whether or not he's hitting the hair straighteners every morning. And I like that he actually gets to have meaty storylines, and the whole Mystique is my mum thing is a consistent struggle for the character throughout the entire series, something that cannot be said with the same off with regards to the live action movies later. I'm gonna put him in tier A because I absolutely love him. X2, X-Men United from 2003, played by Alan Cumming. This is his first live-action portrayal, and it's unusual as it introduces these angel markings tattoos on his face, since apparently it was deemed too difficult to make him look convincingly furry, but they still wanted some visual interest, I suppose. Shout out to the designer Damon Rowanchild, who created the tattoo designs based on a suggestion from his wife. Angelic sigils, i.e. signatures, that would reflect Nightcrawler's faith, combined with alchemical symbols that emphasize his spiritual conflict because of his outward demonic appearance and sulphurous smell. The apparently opposing forces of spirit and form would be balanced and integrated into one harmonious expression of wholeness in the tattoo. Rowanchild said, "Prior to X-Men 2, the tattoos I was asked to do for films tended to be the stereotypical gang members and criminals. I am grateful that in X-Men 2, I was finally given the opportunity to express in a film the essence of tattoo tattoo as a spiritual healing art that realigns body and soul. And I think this is important to mention, as the scene where Nightcrawler talks to Storm about the tattoos, and she's like, how did you get these? And he was like, I have one for every sin. This scene like has kind of been interpreted by some fans as implying self-harm, whereas the designer's comment here I think puts the scene in context. I expect your mileage may vary, but that's how I read it. I totally accept what Rowan Child said about the intention of these tattoos for this character, and I'm gonna go with it. But I hate his nails so very much, unfortunately. That said, I mean, it's a really stunning performance by Alan Cumming. He has sort of great cat-like movement work, suggesting that circus headliner's elegance. There are hints at his flamboyant personality, with the way he announces himself by his circus title whenever he meets a new character in the film.
Who the hell is this?
Coach was Wagner. But in the Munich circus, I was known as the incredible Nightcrawler.
Yeah, save it.
Bombastic side-eye. Criminal offensive side-eye.
And how he has his own posters all over his hideout. Like, I personally love a Nightcrawler with, like, a little vein streak. It's, you know, he needs some flavour, and I think it's fun if he's like, you know what? Me? I am incredible. He's right. His Catholicism is in place. He's seen praying in multiple scenes, and of course, like, he takes refuge in a church. There are just some slight hints at a sort of mischievous nature. The tone of the film and the plot of it, along with his part in it, do not make it easy, but the king that he is, Alan just about managed to sort of squeak it in. And his hair is finally curly for the first time on screen, but it's also this, like, wet look gel, and I think it looks kind of gross, sorry. The Banff this time is a dark blue smoke, used to great effect in the iconic opening scene with the attacking the White House. And also we should give a special mention to Alan's look at the movie premiere, because stun and slay. I'm going to put this version of him in the S tier because he's absolutely wonderful and perfect and all the awards. Wolverine and the X-Men in 2009 was his next appearance, played by Liam O'Brien. This is the cartoon that came after X-Men Evolution, but he's back to being an adult character, so he seems a bit more mature and less like, oh hey, silly goofy child, though he still shows some shades of being mischievous. His main storyline in this sadly short-lived series is pretty Genosha focused, with him helping a group of mutants get to the so-called mutant utopia, to then him being there and absorbing the culture, to then discovering it's not all it's made out to be, to then being put in a gladiator-style fight world. The flirtatiousness of the character finally gets shown here, as he gets a little bit of a romance with the Scarlet Witch, which is low-key one of my very favourite rare pairs, Earth 2182 Forever. Please, can I have a spin-off of this universe with Kurt and Wanda raising TJ? And also finally, he is a swashbuckler on screen in this adaptation, and is shown using swords in a fight against Spiral. His character theme, like his leitmotif, is also distinctly Pirates of the Caribbean sounding, and to emphasize the swashbuckling. His Banff is a black and red glowing sort of smoke, but it seems like it's actually more affected by what he's wearing, because in these flashback clips with the provincial Middle Ages German getup, the Banff is more grey, in keeping with what he's wearing. The sound is like a whoosh. His hair is not curly, but it does seem to be informed by his Evolution hair, like it's a similar style, so I almost feel like Evolution's cut could possibly grow up to be Wolverine in the X-Men's cut. Anyway, I also think he's like the hottest of the on-screen cuts, like still not quite as hot as when he was drawn by Alan Davis in the comics in the 1980s, but pretty handsome for a man whose lines. And I am also going to place him in the S tier. His next appearance is in X-Men Apocalypse from 2016 as played by Cody Smith-McPhee. This is a younger version informed by Alan Cummings' portrayal, and he has almost the same tattoos, but as you can see his chin tattoo is different, and I'm not sure why that is. His portrayal shows hints of the X-Men Evolution portrayal, with the sort of wide-eyed and enthusiastic, interested and amazed by the new culture he's thrown into kind of vibe. I'm pretty sure I read interviews with Cody from the time that suggested he had actually watched Evolution specifically to prepare for this role. Yes, Catholic, he's seen praying in multiple scenes, and they'd change his ugly nails into more like pointed claws, but they're still not cute. Can we please get him some nail polish? He's definitely back to being a comic relief character, though less because of being a jokester on purpose, and more because of being a fish out of water. The Banff effect is the same blue smoke as in X2, though we do get an interesting extended teleportation scene where he rescues Xavier and it's sort of like he's being pulled through an astral tunnel or something. He's got a cool look overall. His eyes notably are not the same light yellow contacts as on Alan Cumming in X2, but sort of these red-rimmed amber that in some scenes in the film appear to be completely red. I'm not really mad at it, I think it's kind of cool. His hair is curly, but it also features this crazy straightened flock of seagulls fringe with blue highlights, and I'm genuinely obsessed with it. Like, I think it looks so cute, and I love imagining him dyeing the bright blue highlight or hitting it with some hair mascara. The Thriller jacket, like the one I'm wearing, is also fun, and so are his dance moves in the deleted mall scene, suggesting that the circus star's athleticism that he has, but through popping and locking, which is just so cute. I absolutely hate forever that this scene was cut from the final movie, Justice for Jubilee. Shout out to the so-called comics accurate costume he gets at the end of the film. I don't agree with this description, I don't think it's really very comics accurate, but it's certainly comics inspired, and I appreciate that, like, an effort was made. He also has a cameo in Deadpool 2. I am going to rank him A tier. I like him. Next appearance, Dark Phoenix in 2019, again played by Cody Smith-McPhee. This is the same portrayal as in Apocalypse, but hugely downgraded. No character development was shown since his previous appearance, and it's devastating. It's obvious that the writers and directors or what have you wanted to keep using his power as a mutant instant taxi service, but had no idea what to do with his character, which is crazy considering, spoiler alert, Mystique gets killed in this movie, and the only person who seems to be upset about it is Nicholas Hoult. Like, hello? Where was the relationship development between Kurt and Raven? It's madness. It's madness. He has, like, 4 lines. He really doesn't say a lot in this film. Half of the lines that he have are just like, I'm sorry, much like in Apocalypse. He's really not got anything new to say, which is honestly just a real shame, because I think that Cody is a great actor and could have been a really good fit for Kurt, and I know that he wanted to play this part and he wanted to play it more like the comic version of the character, the brave and confident swashbuckler, but they really gave him absolutely nothing to do except for this weird scene where he becomes extremely violent for what seems to be the flimsiest reason ever. I don't like it. I can say he still has curly hair, though he's lost the flock of seagulls fringe that made it fun. He does still seem to have a little of the blue highlights, but his outfits are utterly swagless. Beige, he would never. The only thing vaguely Wagner-esque he gets to wear this time is this Dennis the Menace sweatshirt, which to his credit is cute on him, although I think the puffer gilet was a terrible layering choice, and then they switch him into this grey hoodie. Agony. He honestly looked more 1990s, because this film is set in the 1990s, in his Deadpool cameo, as did Storm, than he does in Dark Phoenix. I actually suspect that they were filmed at the same time, as his hair is the same. And all that disappointment aside, we need to still give a special mention to Cody's premiere look, because I think this purple suit is really nice, and also is more like Nightcrawler-esque than anything he was wearing in the film. Unfortunately, I'm going to put him in D tier. Dreadful. And most recently, Nightcrawler has appeared in X-Men 97 in 2024, played again by Adrian Howe. So we're back to animation here, and I think X-Men 97 is supposed to be a direct continuation of the 1990s X-Men cartoon, so this is technically the same character, but he's had a huge makeover. His figure seems to be a little slimmed down, and he also seems shorter, just like height-wise. His hair is better than it was, but it's still not curly, but I like that we finally get glowing golden eyes for him too. He's still all in on the whole priest thing in a big way, bigger than last time even, with the whole priestly raiment and everything. Like, it's not looking good for anyone hoping to date this Nightcrawler. It seems like he's taken his vows. Nonetheless, he is seen having fun and acting mischievous this time around. Swashbuckling is back, again with the dual swords. Oh, it kicks so much ass. This fight scene where he and Wolverine are taking down the Sentinel cyborg people. Just incredible, fantastic. Love, love, love. His physicality seems much more elegant and cat-like compared to the 1990s sort of animation, and that's absolutely delightful. I think it's really funny that this Nightcrawler seems to absolutely hate walking and teleports to do every movement, and I really respect that. Now, I think that this time around, the voice doesn't suit the appearance that well. Like, I feel like the voice suited him in the 90s with that old look, but it's the same actor from the 90s now, and he sounds much older, which is, like, no wonder it's been 30 years, but the character looks much younger. Like, I think he sounds like an old mad scientist.
You Americans, so theatrical!
But then he looks like this lithe little boy toy, and it doesn't make sense to me, and I actually found it quite difficult to listen to. I'm sorry, Mr. Howe. I should also note that I don't think any of the actors who have played Kurt have been German born and raised, though I believe Alan Cumming is fluent in the German language, and I kind of feel like the actors sometimes go too hard on the accent for the sake of, like, what an American audience thinks a German person sounds like, and I would personally like to hear something softer. Like, this is a character who was raised on Errol Flynn movies, so I actually think that he should talk more like that. Not necessarily a transatlantic accent, but I think that a skilled accent performer under the right direction could do something with the concept of, like, a guy from Germany who taught himself English by watching old Hollywood movies, you know? Anyway, X-Men 97's Kurt's Bamf is extremely leveled up. I think it's the nicest looking one so far and really feels like the comics come to life. It's purple and sparkly with a whoosh sound that sounds a lot like, you know, air leaving a vacuum. It's stunning, and again, it has sort of that cool extended teleportation sequence, not dissimilar to the Apocalypse scene where it seems like it's sort of being pulled through dimensions. Probably overall, I would say this is the best rounded moving image adaptation and the closest to his 616 comics version. If not to his original, not that chaste portrayal, then certainly to his later Priest Crawler version. And that's why, you know, he's not the ultimate on-screen Kurt for me, but I do like him. I was delighted every time he appeared on screen, all of my minor gripes aside. And I'm excited to see more of him, as X-Men 97 seems to have set up a decent bond between Kurt and Rogue, something that hasn't received much exploration on screen since Evolution, which was 2 decades ago now. I am going to put him in A tier. So here's my final ranking. Feel free to let me know if you agree or not. Let's either hold hands in agreement or swear ourselves friendly rivals about it. Now, shortly before I recorded this, they announced that Alan Cumming is going to reprise his role as Nightcrawler in the MCU, and
they ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
In my heart, I know that they're just nostalgia baiting us, and they'll absolutely waste having him around, but I suppose I just hope that they give him a good outfit, nice hair, and maybe a sword or two, you know? That's it. Thank you for watching this video. If you've made it this far, thank you. And you will see me again if there is another one. Goodbye.